guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new IDontWorkHereLady content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled "You're Going to Call the Police?" Sure, I'll wait. Even as a police officer, I cannot recall in my 7 years as a sworn officer coming across some people that are as dense as some of these stories. Well, today disabused me of that notation. Also, this will not be word for word but to the best of my memory. Also, apologizes for my English. I graduated a prestigious private school in the southern US and got my bachelor's in criminology and am working on my master's at a university in the Midwest. So any mistake in my spelling or grammar is completely my fault. Background: I am a USMC vet and a police officer. Also, I am currently on admin duty because I tore my quad when I failed to properly jump a fence during a foot chase, so I am walking with a cane currently. Cast: Karen equals Karen. AM equals awesome manager. BC equals buddy cop. Me equals hi, it's me. The event: I had just gotten off of my duty shift and decided that since the weather is going to be nice over my weekend, I am going to get a couple steaks, some corn and just stuff for a cookout with a couple of my buddies. I am looking at the steaks, comparing a cuts before I put one back. When I hear it, the mating call of the wild Karen, this is a sound that I am familiar with. But, she can't seriously think that I work here. I am in a plain, logoless white polo shirt, tucked into my uniform pants, midnight blue cargo pants, and my black boots. The workers here wear black button-up shirts, khaki pants and a green apron with the store name on it. Managers tend to wear black pants but still have the apron, but with manager on the name tag. Sure enough, it was for me. Since I had ignored her, I earned an even more stern throat clearing directed toward me, and then a shrill "excuse me." I'm in a hole, but I also think I'm hilarious. This is a horrible combination when facing a Karen. It is because of this disastrous mix of character traits that I call back to her, without a look. Absolutely, you are excused. The bathroom is that way with a gesture toward the sign for the restrooms, before adding, and I am sure they have something in the pharmacy if you need more than that. Karen, that is no way to speak to a customer. You didn't even ask what I needed. Now. Me, interrupting her, look, I don't care. I am not an employee here, I have no duty to help you. I do not look anything like a staff member here. If there is nothing else, I will be returning to my shopping. Yes, I know, I was rude. I am not going to make excuses for it. I have very little patience for these entitled morons. Karen, in full banshee shriek, I want your manager. I'm going to. Me, going into full knife-handing NCO Marine, bellow out, shut your mouth. I am a customer, I don't work here, stop harassing me. The problem with going full devil dog when in public is the general public is not accustomed to the volume level a good yell from the diaphragm can produce. Also, the tone of voice is very hostile. The bigger problem with going full devil dog is when you are using a cane to keep you standing, it becomes very easy for you to be toppled. And this is exactly what Karen did. Fair play, Karen, fair play. She kicked my cane out from under my hand, and I was too far forward to recover, and went down like a sack of potatoes. She then started hitting me with her purse. I had been hit harder by pillows wielded by my 6-year-old niece, and yelling about me assaulting her and needing the police. I don't know if it was 2 minutes, or 30 seconds, but it wasn't that long. It just felt like it was a bit because I was embarrassed about how easily I went down, and how much it hurt my leg. But it was this point that AM comes over and gets Karen off of me, and helps me up. The whole time Karen is still screaming, until she remembered that she had her own phone and called 911, screaming things at me like I'm calling the police. You're in trouble now and I didn't ask for you to assault me. What? AM looked at me as confused as I was, and I just shrugged. AM, do you know what is going on? Me, yeah, she tried to get my attention. I made a glib remark. She told me to get my manager. I dressed her down. Then as I was in the middle of unloading on her, I think she kicked my cane and I went down. You saw the rest. Karen, liar. You felt me up and then when I pushed you off of me, you hit me with that stick, and if it wasn't for the fact that I hit you with my purse, I'd be dead. At this time, I'm pretty sure the dispatcher had said something to her, as she said into the phone, yeah, he is about 6 foot, a large white man, in a white polo and black pants with boots. We're at the... Yes, I think I am safe. The manager is here, but he seems to know my attacker. I think he wants to assault me too. No Karen, no one wants to assault you. AM and I exchange looks before AM asks me, it appears she called the police, can I ask you to wait in the store? He says to me. Me, with a nod, sure, I'll wait. It was only a couple of minutes before BC comes walking up, name what is happening here, we got a call about a sexual assault. The fact that I was addressed before Karen sent her into orbit. I could see BC's eye just glaze over, and since I had trained BC when she joined the force, I knew this meant has already tuned the irate Karen out. I just looked at BC and said, take her statement, this is the manager on duty, then review the security footage. Karen being Karen starts with a, we don't need the security footage. This man sexually assaulted me, arrest him. And she also threw this gem out, you're a woman, and you know him, you must know what type of a man he is. You can be honest that he probably has assaulted you too. BC looked over to the manager and said, I think it would help more if I were to see that footage first. It was at this point that BC's partner tells the Karen that we both, Karen and I, are supposed to stay with him, while BC goes with the manager. Apparently, not only did the security camera catch everything in 1080p, but it also had audio. BC returned about 5 minutes later, looked at her partner and then pointed to Karen. Arrest her for assault and making a false report. BC then got into Karen's face and said, I have been assaulted in the past, it is people like you that make false claims that make it so hard for us actual victims to get the help we need. And that was really the end of it. The AM helped me get the rest of my things for the grill out, and I got a nice 25% off coupon. The next story is titled So She Hit Me in the Head with a Shoe. As you may have guessed from the title, I went shoe shopping today. Nothing too fancy, I just wanted to get a new pair of running shoes. So I'm at a local shoe store browsing the stock of good shoes at relatively low prices, which is why I go there. I'm not into trendy new shoes, I just like ones that fit well and let me run comfortably in them and don't want to overpay. The best way to do that emo is to get brand name great shoes but in prior models so the price is reduced. Anyway, I find a nice pair of shoes and am in the process of removing them from the box so I can try them on when I hear a woman shout from the end of the row. When you're done there, get your A over here and help me get my feet into these. And hurry up, I don't have all effing night. I figure some mother is talking to her kid in a rude way, which I've sadly heard parents do before. No kid around, though. Oh well, I pay no attention and go back to checking out what I hope will be my next pair of running shoes. But, alas, soon I hear the woman again. What the F do you think you're doing? Customers come first. Ah, she's turned her wrath on an employee, I think. Well, they can handle themselves. Let's do some short little runs back and forth across the aisle since no one else is over here so we can see about these shoes. So I start jogging back and forth, looking at the shoes on my feet and the space near me and paying no mind to anything else. These fit great and they're not even $40. I do believe I will buy these. Then it happens. I'm slowly jogging back to my own shoes, totally delighted at getting this new pair, and I feel something slam into the back of my head. I look around and the woman with the behemoth behind is standing there with a smug look between anger and satisfaction plastered across her miserable face. You'd have seen that coming if you were paying attention to your customers. Now get over here and do your job before I get your pathetica fired. It takes a few short seconds for me to process this. My mind is working this way. She hit me in the head with a shoe. Because she thinks I'm an employee? Wait, she hit me in the head with that effing shoe. Are you out of your mind? I don't work here, lady. Yes, I got to yell the title of this sub at her. I started moving toward her, but 3 real employees descended on us. The behemoth took the lead and launched into a tirade about how I wasn't doing my job, even though I just told her I didn't work there. I told the nearest employee what happened while she ranted to a guy who turned out to be the manager. I thought he might believe her for a second, but he was having none of her crap. It turns out he had been in the back working and watching the video monitors, which allowed him to see her throw a shoe at me and hit me in the head. He asked if I was okay. I was, just stunned, and then he told the behemoth he was calling the police. She tried running away but hilariously slipped on a shoebox, falling right back onto the seat she had been on, and then she apparently gave up on the idea of escape. A police officer arrives in a few minutes. I tell him what happened while Behemoth denies it and claims I threw the shoe at her. The manager says he saw the whole thing happen as I stated and even has video, which he then copies onto a USB drive. This goes into the officer's pocket before he places Behemoth into handcuffs and leads her out of the store. As for me, I got my brand new pair of running shoes at the best price ever, free, thanks to the manager's insistence, even though I said he didn't need to do that. The next story is titled A Tactical Karening. The Karen Gets Karen. I was witness to possibly the most hilarious Karen interaction I've ever seen. In this I was just an onlooker, and didn't play a part at all. There are 3 players in this dialogue: K, the Karen; UC, the nicely dressed but unfortunate customer who Karen decided worked there; and HC, the hilarious customer, who... well, it'll all become clear. Yesterday in fact, I went to pick up some groceries at Asda, British company, owned by Walmart, edit, until February, but less trashy. As I'm shopping with my trolley, I hear the harumph of an approaching Karen behind me, but to my surprise she walks straight past me to UC, demanding this, that and the other, to which UC responds with, "Sorry, but I don't work here." As Karen starts accusing him of lying, etc., I figure that I'll stick around and see what happens. It might be funny, but if she assaults the guy or accuses him of something, I'll be a witness. As I'm listening to UC reiterate that he doesn't work for Asda, and Karen repeatedly accuse him of lying, another customer, HC, comes past and addresses the Karen in a big booming voice, finally a manager. He booms at her, "Some woman just accused me of not helping her when I'm a customer here. Now, what are you going to do about it?" Oh, the irony. Karen turns to HC and says, "What? I'm not a manager." "What do you?" but gets cut off mid-sentence by HC, "Of course you're a manager. I've seen you talking to customers. Now you are going to help me." Karen tries to explain that she was talking to UC, who she says works there, but in the confusion, UC had wisely ducked out, leaving Karen saying, "I was talking to," as she gestures at an empty space. Suddenly she is alone. HC, "Well, hanging around speaking to staff isn't very professional, is it? You should be doing your job, helping customers. Starting with me." Karen then just screams, "I don't ducking work here. Duck off." And walks off, clearly upset, abandoning her shopping trolley, that's a shopping cart to those who live in the States, in the process. UC, who's been waiting on the next aisle, walks back at this point, and says, "Ah, she's gone." "Yeah, well," says HC, "that got rid of her." Smiles vaguely and just continues shopping like nothing had happened. HC, whoever you are, you're a ducking legend. The next story is titled Lost Job. 2 weeks ago, an old boss keeps texting me insisting I do work. At first I responded politely explaining I can't help anymore because I don't have access to relevant systems and also am not an employee, have a new job and am busy. I then cut conversation short as boss was a nightmare to work for when I was there and didn't want to get into it with them. Boss then responds a day later insisting I call them to help with another, different issue that I know they don't need my help with as it's such a simple and self-explanatory task. I was laid off BC, my role no longer required, apparently, and I left a great handover log and was super thorough in handing everything over, gave boss plenty of opportunity to fact find from me. I was on notice since last October, so there's no way they need my help except from forgetfulness/laziness on their part. Not only that, I got utterly shafted with severance pay, and despite being in a great position to help me, this boss wouldn't lift a finger to make my situation better. I literally don't work here, lady, stop texting me. The next story is titled, "Oh, is it because he's black?" This happened this past weekend. My so should really post this as I was a bit late to the main event, but he doesn't read it, so I'm posting from my perspective/memory. So and I went to the big orange home improvement store. We were in the garden section looking for some lawn care products. So is very particular about the lawn and has done a great job researching products to bring life back to our lawn. After some in-depth discussion, he picks out some grass seed and tosses it into the cart. I saw some houseplants over in the distance I wanted to check out, so I leave him there to continue looking and take the cart with me. Now, the houseplants are not far away from the lawn care products. So is still within my line of sight, just not within speaking distance. I'm not even over there for 2 minutes when I look up in response to hearing So and some guy getting loud. I mosey back over and give So a look, asking what's going on. The guy is upset because he saw So help me pick out grass seed but won't help him. So says the obvious, I don't work here, but the guy is having none of it. Guy says he knows So works there, he saw So help me. He then goes on to say that maybe if he was a woman, So would be more interested in helping him. So says, whoa. That's not it at all, I really don't work here. I finally speak up and say, yeah, he doesn't work here. He's my So. We're here shopping together. The guy scoffed and shook his head in disbelief and states that So is an employee. We try to explain it to him again, but he refuses to listen and keeps on demanding service from So and the manager. You guys know how this part goes. Finally, something inside me clicks and I look at the guy and ask him, oh, is it because he's black? You believe he is an employee and not my So because he's black. Reddit, I'm pumpkin spice latte white. So is a delicious shade of caramel. The guy was gaping like a fish, turning red, and suddenly dead quiet as the realization washes over him. Publicly calling out someone's racism will do that to you. I then grab So's hand, hold up my lovely engagement ring to the guy's face and reiterate that we were together, then lay a big kiss on So. Not another word was exchanged while we turned and walked off to the registers hand in hand. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.